be more. Sheets, how did your night go?
I had a shot at the day slate actually. As I you weren't here for the day stuff. I was really trying to make cases for a lot of these pitchers, and I ended up with a decent amount of that Miami guy, um,
Trevor Rogers.
Hernandez.
Oh, yeah,
He
yeah.
killed it. He got like 30 fantasy points in Colorado, and I just didn't quite get all of these Miami guys, and then they scored 100,000 runs. So I did okay in the afternoon slate. In the evening slate, I actually just played really poorly. I put stuff in, then I left and didn't check, and that was I kind of left the evening slate to you, and thank God I didn't give it any of my takes because I barely even realized the Yankee game was raining out. It was kind of a shit show. But the good news is I finalized a third or fourth version of the Survivor Pool EV tool, which I've been working on. So I want to send it over to maybe send it to you and Mark, and maybe to Will also. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
To get that up there. We'll talk between calls, I guess.
Yeah, and we can talk about this slate and everything, but I do want to vent for 1 second. I'm very frustrated because my secondary lineup every night that I make my little pivot.
Oh no!
Every night it wouldn't have won every night. Last night it would have, but every other night it would have come in second every day that I've played this week in the big buy-in, and it's literally just making a couple lineups. It's actually like 3 or 4 lineups, but still. But so I finished second in like the $12 million.
Did you really?
Not yeah, like I mean it's for like $1,000 or whatever. Okay. And then I finished fifth in another one of the single entries, which was another $5 million person thing.
That's 1,000 more than I cashed for. I'll tell you that.
No, I mean I actually it was actually a profitable night, but it wasn't profitable in any of the big stuff at all, which was a little frustrating. I mean I had a little bit of a run in the 250. I just played one 250 lineup, and I think I finished 20 something or something like that. But it's just a little frustrating because the night before it happened on FanDuel for me, I finished fourth in the $55, but it was my pivot lineup off of my big one, and it would have finished second in the 555 or whatever for 30,000. Instead, it was the $50 for 1,000. You know what I mean? Just one of those kind of weeks for me.
I'm gonna share again. I'm gonna share my. I'm gonna share a theory with you.
I did say to the people, and they definitely received the information well because other people did it. I said to stack Baltimore last night, and I just didn't. I stayed with it in about half my lineups, but not enough of them, basically.
So one of the things that I like doing is sharing all my life experiences and all my theories growing up and all the sports betting stuff. So I'm going to share with you. And listen, it might not be relevant, it might be whatever. So I'm going to share with you. This is called the John DeMott theory. Okay, so John DeMott was a guy I used to go to the racetrack with, like on a regular basis. Like we were just pure degens at the Meadowlands, and he would bet on this, he would bet on that, he'd bet on this. And he'd say, okay, I got a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And then he'd always say to me, because he would always say, God, why didn't I freaking bet that thing? Because I was going to bet that and I didn't bet, and that thing that came in. So the John DeMott theory, what he said to me is, this is what you do. After you put all your stuff in, with 2 minutes to post, you take a breath and you say, okay, now what's going to come in that's really going to make me pissed? Yeah. And then bet that also. Yeah. so you should probably say, okay, so before you little check mark, all right, so what lineup is what's gonna happen that is gonna really piss me off tomorrow, and maybe I'll just put that one in also. So I don't know, maybe that'll help, maybe it won't, but whenever you're doing something that requires multiple stuff going on, you know what I mean? So
that makes perfect sense. And you know what really screwed me yesterday was our rules with Robbie Ray, right? Okay. Yep. So like if he has an extreme pitchers umpire and is the only one on the slate, that's the guy I'm going to go with. And that's what I ended up doing rather than taking the Baltimore side against him, which was my original plan. And I just overweighted it a little bit too much. Like it should have been it was in my 250, but not as much as it was in my other ones. And and they just went freaking nuts. I mean, it would have been just a perfect Chiefs. These guys were like 0.5% owned. Odor was 0.6% owned and was like the second highest scoring player on the slate. Like it was just one of those days where I had all the right things if I just never looked away from my original build, it would have been a beautiful night. And say thank you to Raquel for dropping off the breakfast stuff.
Very nice.
I didn't end up playing golf this week because it was a really busy day yesterday, and I think I told you, but I'm going to be gone tomorrow. But let's talk about this 3-gamer that we got here. What do you do?
So the first thing I would like to ask you, because I know that probably some people are interested in FanDuel.
Yeah.
What are you if you're going to play, or even if you're not going to play, how would you advise dealing with the Yankee game?
On a slate this small, I would probably play it.
Yeah, I think I am in agreement with you with exactly those qualifiers. Because it's a small slate, and because the Yankees rain out yesterday. I don't want to say surprised everybody, because because people had it rated as something that could happen. I mean, you did have Cortez at 10% ownership, so I mean, it didn't. So some people were surprised. So maybe people are kind of shy away from it today, for similar reasons.
Well, you're in New York. What is the Miss Sheets weather forecast?
Well, this is what I got. I'll tell you exactly what I have. I'll read the official thing. Quote: "Going to storm later. My massage is 3 to 4:30. I can get you on the way home if you want." That's all I get. But all I read is going to storm later. I don't know what that means, but so I'm reading that maybe it's not going to storm maybe until 4. I don't know. We'll see. So I guess that's a yellow orange, I guess, from Mrs. Sheets, I think.
Evan says, "Ask Mrs. Sheets' mom."
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, Mrs. Sheets' mom. No, I don't ask her because if you ask Mrs. Sheets' mom, it's always raining. so that's not gonna help too much.
That's funny. Oh man. Well, I could use a good day of DFS. I did want to point out, again, I am out tomorrow. I have a Friday, Saturday that's an all day thing. But I do want to focus a little time tonight on the NBA when we do it. We got some big tournament sheets. And
they play tonight?
They play tonight, and there's plenty of room for speculation in this series, in my opinion. With the way Boston plays big, I'm just gonna.
Are you gonna play the 7-game slate thing, or
what's the 7-game slate?
I think there's like a 7-game slate thing where you just play the same guys. You have them in every game.
Oh my! How does that even work? You got to have to talk to me about that one after we get off of this thing.
They've had them before.
How do we do it?
I don't know how you do it. I'm just saying what there is.
I don't even know how that works, but that's pretty awesome.
Wait, hang on. Before we talk about how to if you're going to fade Alex Manoah or not, I have to address something in the chat. So we have to have some congratulations here. So Joanne is getting married. It says July the 1st. Just want to let you guys know. Love the show. My brother is a member. He's the reason I got into DFS. Now I don't know what's more interesting about that comment. The fact that she has a brother who's named KJ4261.
Yeah, I know.
It's kind of a strange name to have. But that's actually really cool. Mazel tov, as they say in our part of the country, to you.
Congratulations, Joanne, one of our new favorite members.
That's right. That's right.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
So Road is coming in saying, 7 games total points. Yeah, you get your 5 guys over 7 games.
I'll just say right now what I'll be doing. Bielitsa.
There it is. There it is.
Will be my hot take for this series.
Well, it doesn't get more direct than that, man. That's it.
Really, that's what I'm going to do in this series. I'm gonna speculate that they play Bielitsa, and I'll bet all of his overs every single game.
Dude, I'll tell you this: if you do this in this 5-game thing, and if it makes sense from a salary perspective, if you're not giving up too much doing that, and you're right. I mean, and then like by the 3rd game, he's playing like 28 minutes a game. You have locked in like all kinds of equity, right?
Yeah, I mean who's gonna do that? I'm into it. I'm gonna give it a shot.
I'm playing it. I
haven't even seen how it like looks exactly. Like what is I haven't even gone through that. But okay, so we can talk about the MLB slate. Sorry, I'm deviating the show away from this.
Okay, so talk me off of what I'm doing this slate. How about that?
Okay. How about that?
I have 100% Manoah and Kluber. So tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me if it's way too chalky, or tell me what else to do.
If there was anything else I would do, I would stack Texas, and I would probably I would consider a Taylor Hearn and Fado lineup just to get weird, and then stack Texas. I mean, look, you're talking to a guy who didn't have a guy above 3% owned last night on his freaking main lineup. So I'm in a very contrarian-ish mood, and those were the good lineups.
Well, dude, you had freaking Adam Perry in here who was begging me to play anybody but Verlander yesterday. He wanted me to play Klingerger and some other cheapo.
I missed the early slate because I was busy. But what happened?
So Verlander was 80% owned. He projected like 10 points higher than everybody else, and I just literally couldn't find a way to fade him. Even though there was all these other guys that I could make case for SP2s, like Darvish was like someone to fade at SP2. There's another guy to fade at SP2. So all these Klinger boppers and Skugermakers and Bumgardners and all these guys and the Cabreras, all these guys were good SP2s, but I didn't have it in me to go double punt and fade Verlander. And he kept on saying, well, why don't you? I mean, it's a short slate. Anything's possible. It's baseball. You know, these kind of some slates, it's worth doing that. And I wouldn't even listen. I'm like, yeah, I hear you, but he projects that much higher than everybody else. On this particular occasion, I can't do it. And of course, everybody with Verlander got lost.
Oh man,
There's a double punt, and everybody stacked Miami with two pitchers no one's heard of, and they won a fortune. So yeah. It's so here's my I have a first question on a 3-game slate. Is this: are you going to use hitters against pitchers in 3-game slate tonight?
Yes, and it goes along into that question with how much correlation do you guys do on the tiny slates? 3 games, I actually don't care that much about correlation, but I like it. If you give me 2 guys who I think are similar, I would definitely prefer the guy who's on, if I've got 2 guys from the same team already, I'd rather have that. But I really don't think you have to worry about stacking. I don't think there's any need to do anything like that. It depends on the slate, of course, but this slate particularly, I don't think you need to try to overly correlate. But if you give the guy a little bit of a boost if he fits in the same stack. I love what Rody already popped in with he's stacking Texas. I love the idea of stacking Texas. I'm not saying this is going to work. This is not a thing that I expect to work most of the time.
With no Corey Seager too.
Yeah, but it's something that exactly. But I think it works enough of the time. And Kluber is like, he doesn't have the same strikeout pitch that he used to have. He doesn't have like the same put away pitch. And you could just get yourself in trouble with that. So I would be stacking Texas and Detroit and probably playing I probably would be skipping. I would be playing Manoah, and I would probably be playing Fado or Hearn.
Yeah, he was pretty good, Fado. He's not bad.
If I wasn't stacking Texas, I would play her. No, that's right. No, that's fine. Yeah, no, I mean, he's got some stuff. And this Minnesota team is just a boomer bust team. Like they score 0 runs, or they score 20 runs. It's I don't know what to do with them. I did try to stack Detroit in my main lineup, and it's always nice on a slate that feels like it plays kind of small. Like everybody on Detroit and Baltimore was like they were combined. If you took all the players on both teams, they were like a combined 10% owned. Right. You know what I mean? It was one of those beautiful things. But I don't think that there's like, that's what I would be trying to do to get different. Obviously the chalk and the thing that makes the most sense is that you want to play, Manoah and Kluber and then
Toronto and Minnesota.
But I don't think you can win doing that just because it's too easy for everyone else to do it, unless you're playing the same number of entries as everybody else. Right. And I would also say that I think Tampa is probably going to be a little bit overowned. So I like the Texas idea. Even without our man, but you got the 2K Josh Smith in there. They cost nothing, so that's not an issue. But you can literally stack up Texas in like a 3 or 4 man, combine it with Toronto or Minnesota if you want to, or Detroit, however which way you want to do it, and then you've got all of a sudden like you've got a low owned stack combined with a popular one. The only ones from Texas that I think are going to be owned are going to be Garver, Calhoun. And I think this is a slate where you can leave money on the table.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So that's the way I would approach this one. And by the way, I probably should play, although I almost had a really good one because I got a call early in the morning from my daughter the other day, which I had to answer, which I was very happy to. But it forced me to play the early day slate because I was up then a little earlier than normal and ready to get after it. and it almost led to perfectness. I almost got everything, but everything faded away in the very end. It still was a really profitable day, but it was a little frustrating. It's always frustrating in baseball when you go from like second and everything to like 30th in just like 2 swings in the ninth.
Well, yeah, I mean, but that's
the game. Yeah,
that's 100%. The game.
It's more frustrating on a big slate because usually it's harder to, you feel like you've gotten through it, you've conquered the big slate, you got all the things right, and then Patrick Wisdom on a 2-strike.
Oh, Patrick Wisdom. Literally, you need any variation except for Patrick Wisdom hitting a home run. I think
Patrick Wisdom it had to be Patrick Wisdom back to back with Ian Happ. They had to go back to back, and they had the 0-2 pitch on Patrick Wisdom, and I just was like, oh. It was a $150,000 pitch.
Yeah.
But that happens. All right. I don't know if there's a whole lot else to like go through with this particular.
No.
We're gonna record a video for the next one. Yep. I will just really quickly just point out any umpire information, although it's what was the death of me yesterday. You do have the extreme hitters umpire in Detroit, and my weather stuff says that basically honestly, if you're playing on FanDuel, I guess the Yankees hitting weather is probably the best weather on the slate. Other than that, I would try to side with Toronto. Yeah. I would be if I was playing on FanDuel, to be honest, I would be playing all of the Yankees stuff. Just because I think the ownership is going to be too low. People are too worried. Am I crazy, Sheets? I don't know. I'm not in New York. What do you feel like about the weather? I mean, like, forget Miss Sheets for a second. What about what is your take on this? It's gonna play.
I don't have windows in my office, so I have no idea.
They're gonna play. There's 2.
Okay, well, there you go. That's it. That's it.
They've got a double header.
So Bielitsa paired with they're gonna play.
Bielitsa parlay with the Yankees playing at least one game today.
Yeah, so this whatchamacallit, this NBA, the series fadeaway thing. Mm-hmm. So it's actually six players, one of them in a captain, and you get them for all the games.
So what is it called though? Like
it's called the NBA Series 50K fadeaway, 10K for first.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give that a shot.
I'm just gonna play around for a second. Like if I put like Bielitsa, he's only 20. He's 1,400. And I wonder if you put him in, and then we'll have to play around with this, but I wonder if you could then just jam everybody.
I think you probably could. What a genius, McLovin. McLovin, the DFS player. You've seen his name, I'm sure. He wins everything. He's awesome. He's a really good dude too, by the way. I've met him at a couple of finals. I don't know him well at all, but he's just like one of the sweetest, like nice guys, But and he's always cheering for everybody else because he wins so much money on his own. But he did the genius thing in the last game and won the big ones in basketball. He put the Yurt 7, who was never going to play, who cost I think he was 200 or whatever, in the captain spot.
Yeah.
And then he won everything, filling out the salary cap with the other top plays. And that was, I haven't seen that one done before and have it actually work. I've heard people tried it and all these things.
I do that. Yeah. So it was really funny. So in one of and we talked about this in terms of Showdown, when you put a guy, even if he's going to get a 0, right, that'll open up everybody else to be able to be played, and it's the only way you can get those 5 guys in.
Right.
Sometimes you pitch the 0 just to make it work.
I'm with you, but the weird part is that he did it as a 0 in the captain.
Right.
That's the rare one. I don't see that one very often.
Because it was funny because there was one of those 2-game slates a couple weeks ago where we're going to day 2 of the 2-game slate, and I was here and I was tied. My best lineup, I was in like 6th place with like a kind of a quarter to go, and one of my guys was Yurt 7 and he had a 0, right? Mm-hmm. I was in 6th place, and then it was really weird because I was actually tied somehow with 5 people had the same score I did, right? Mm-hmm. And it was all from the same account. It wasn't McLovin, it was another good player, DFS Hofbrau.
Yeah.
And he had 6 lineups that had the same score with me. I'm like, he had the same thing. He had 6 lineups all with a different guy with a 0. In that spot.
Right. He did like the same thing through just in case.
That's right. That's right.
It was the big millionaire was like that for football. Was Josh
Yeah.
Gordon was on? I think it might have been McLovin's also, but it was he had the zero from, and I was just like, how can you win with a? I mean, in a 6-man thing that has a million people playing it, to win with it to win solo first place with a zero is
right.
Basically almost impossible.
Well, you think of, okay, so here's the logic. All right, so let's say you have 5. Let's say you have this a six-man lineup, right? And 5 guys. Let's just say they rate like 80 points better than anybody below them. It's never going to happen. Let's say it is. But literally, if you play all 5 of them, you're left with $100 or something, or $200 left in salary. Mm-hmm. Just pick whoever's 200. You know what I mean? That's it.
No, it's fair. It's fair.
And that's the only way. And that's the only mathematical way you can get to those 5 guys. And also, if those 5 guys go off, the only people that can have them are people with a 0.
Right.
That's right.
That's exactly right. Exactly right. All right. So, but I do want to point out that I think this is it's not going to be, I'm not going to get everything right in this NBA slate, but I do think this is the time for speculation. I think you have creative coaches. I don't think it's necessarily on the Boston side as much. I think that with Kerr on the Golden State side, I just think there's going to be a lot of exciting potential guys who, like, you don't know if you might get a Moses Moody 25-minute game or a Kuminga 25-minute game, or the aforementioned Bjelica 25-minute game. These are all on the table, and we really don't know what they're going to do. They've adjusted per series, and it'll be interesting to see. Maybe Bjelica plays no minutes tonight. Maybe he plays 15 the next night. I don't know. But I do think that's what I'm betting on, is that Bjelica gets a lot of run in this series.
I'm in. Dude, I'm telling you, but this particular format is exactly when you're supposed to do it, because in game 1 he's going to be 1,000 and no one's going to play him, whatever. But if he gets 20, and you would certainly take advantage of that then. But if he then indicates, like, if he plays 24 minutes and plays well somehow, then for all subsequent showdown slates he's going to be like 5,000.
Exactly.
But you have him locked in at this freaking rate for the next 7 games.
Or if Kuminga gets 20 minutes tonight, he's going to be all of a sudden spike up, and then he might not get any minutes the next night. It's going to be a lot of going back and forth, and it's going to depend on how the previous game went in certain situations. Right. And this is the kind of thing that I think I'm fairly good at. And this is a series I can take advantage of it more than I could Miami and Boston. So I think we can make some money with this.
Sounds good.
All right. So we're going to get out of here, Sheets, and we're going to record, right? I'll send you over the invite.
Yep.
All right. Well, good luck to everybody on the day slate. I'm not playing it, but I hope you guys all take it down, and we'll see you on the video for the evening slate. And I will be live at 6 Eastern. So good luck, everybody.